So, Remnant 2 has another, what I'm going to call a major update. They've done a lot of fixes to the game. So what we're going to do in this video is go through the patch notes, cover absolutely everything. There is quite a lot to go through. A lot of it is like fixes, a lot of it is progression blockers. But we're starting off with performance and crashes, and I'm not sure if this is going to release straight away on console or even at any point this week. I'm not sure about console. This is based on Steam, and it was a 5 gig update, and I believe that's bigger than the first update they put out. If I remember correctly, the first update they put out where they patched all of like the XP and scrap like glitches, whatever you want to call them, I believe that was around 2 gigs, so this is like 2.5 times bigger. But starting off with performance and crashes, there's ongoing optimizations to improve overall performance. They fixed multiple reported crash bugs. There's a potential fix for game thread timed out waiting for render thread crash. And then in terms of being out of memory when loading on Intel 13th generation CPUs, they have identified an issue on some of them where upon startup the game displays a message about being out of video memory. What they've said is if your CPU is overclocked, try setting it back to the default. If you're not overclocked or that doesn't work, try installing Intel Extreme Tuning Utility and lower your performance core ratio from 55 to 54x. And then in terms of the achievements and difficulty rewards, they've retroactively fixed several achievements that weren't tracked correctly, and they've also retroactively fixed as many difficulty-based rewards as possible. And it states that to unlock the difficulty rewards and achievements, because they've been retroactively fixed, you must interact with the World Stone. So they're not going to show up as soon as you load into the game, you've got to go to the World Stone first. And then in terms of quality of life, it says they've added all unlocked archetypes to Wallace's inventory. If you've unlocked any secret archetype by converting a mysterious item into an engram, he will then sell them for all future characters. If you can start with it, Wallace will sell it. So I believe the armor, like as long as you've unlocked that archetype, will be available through Wallace. They've reduced the requirement to obtain the Revivalist trait, is also included Very Good Boy. They've updated Nimue, Bedell, and the Rude Vending Machine and Blood Altar to properly keep their items in stock. They fixed the damage reduction calculation in the advanced stats. While it was a bug, they still wanted to make sure it was at the top of the list because it was giving players incorrect info. They've also again reduced the multiplayer scaling per player by an additional 5%, so it's down from 15 to 10%. And they've said that this means that in 3-player co-op, all players will now take 10% less damage. And that's the second time they've done that, so they've drastically lowered the amount of damage you're going to take in multiplayer. They've increased the chance that Cass is going to spawn her special rewards. They've increased the invulnerability time on standard revives by 0.7 seconds to give players a little bit more time to react after being revived. And now, this is something I didn't know, the experience gained in multiplayer is shared across any distance. It was previously 40 meters for a max range, and it now applies to dead teammates too. And I thought the XP was shared just like your scrap, your ammo if you got gunslinger, your items and stuff that you pick up, like your bits of loot. But apparently the XP you were gaining only had a 40-meter max range to share it. So if you was 45 meters away from your teammate, you kill an enemy, they get no XP for it. But now it's across any distance, so you could be at either end of a dungeon, get a kill, and both of you, like if there's 2 of you, you're both going to get the XP. And even if you've got a teammate that's dead, that's going to count as well. So that's a really, really good change there. Then in terms of balancing for the general category, they've reduced vicious enemy affix from 33 to 15%. They've reduced the spiteful enemy affix from 0 to 45% to 0 to 25%. And it's based on the current enemy health. They've reduced the thick skin enemy affix from, it says, minus 15% to crit chance and minus 25% crit damage to minus 10% and minus 15% respectively. They've reduced the hearty enemy affix from 25% max HP to 15%, and they've increased the bulwark damage reduction from 65432 with a 20% maximum to 76543, so it's a 25% max. Then when it comes to armor, they've made a few tweaks to various types to give them unique benefits that are applicable for all difficulties. They felt the baseline heavy armor values at approximately 35% damage reduction were in a good spot, especially with the recent changes to certain enemy affixes, so they adjusted the other armors to bring them up to par in their own way. Armor-based damage reduction is typically the easiest type of DR to get in the game, and due to its importance at higher levels, the lower value armors were becoming less than desirable. So they've adjusted the light armor damage reduction value from approximately 15 to 25%, the medium armor reduction is from 25 to 30, and the ultra heavy armor damage reduction is from 45 to 50%. They've increased light armor evade invulnerability by 2 frames. The medium is by 1. The ultra heavy is by 1. And then it says armor evade value and stamina penalty reference. Light evade is 25 encumbrance or lower. 12 iframes, no stamina cost penalty. Medium is 26 to 50 encumbrance. 11 iframes, 25% stamina cost penalty. Heavy evade is 51 to 75 encumbrance. 10 iframes, 50% stamina penalty. And ultra heavy is 76 plus encumbrance, 15 iframes because you're flopping, and that's a 75% stamina cost penalty. It says no changes were made to the stamina cost. These are original values. Additionally, heavy evade and ultra heavy flop have their original iframe value as well. The only changes regarding iframes were to the 2 lighter weight classes. But then for archetypes, the Handler, Companion, and Summoner minions gain increased health per difficulty. So on Apocalypse, they will have the highest base health. And they've increased the Challenger's Intimidating Presence range from 10 to 15 meters. They've increased the Restriction Cord damage reduction from 10 to 15%. They've increased the Guardian's ring range from 10 to 15 meters. They've enabled the Misty Step neutral backdash attack. Then for enemies, they've adjusted downtime and overall combat flow for Annihilation. They've also adjusted Annihilation mind behavior on Survivor difficulty. Then for bug fixes, progression and rewards. There are like 6 progression blockers here that they fixed. So Cass no longer wanders out of town making her store inaccessible. Ward 13 NPCs no longer lose their memory after rolling adventure mode. They fixed an issue where Annihilation would be stuck between the first and the second phase of the fight due to an improper plasma cutter interaction. They fixed an issue if the player died before one of the children made it back to Oracle. The Oracle would not interact with the player. I don't know if they fixed the quilt scrap farm that I put a video out for. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's not working on multiple platforms, so I don't know if that's been changed. Another progression blocker, they fixed an issue in Sentinel's Keep that would cause the player to become stuck inside the door. And the final one, they fixed an issue where liquid escape could be lost. Then in terms of the archetypes, they fixed an issue with Summoner's minions targeting pigs in Loathsome. Pigs are no longer valid targets. Another issue with Handler's Very Good Boy not waking the sleeping Huntress when attacking. They fixed the Medic's redemption cooldown for clients. The Engineer kills via the turret now grant XP. So the turrets are going to give XP for killing now. And they've removed the controller rumble when the Summoner minions move near the player. Then for gear and items, there's quite a lot here. They fixed an issue with the Aphelion weapon, causing it to do drastically reduced damage. So if you've got that in a build, it's going to be a lot more powerful now. They fixed various issues with Restriction Cord, causing issues like UI weirdness, memory leaks, and players getting stuck in the World Stone as a client. Death's Embrace effects remaining after exiting to the main menu and returning to the game's now fixed. Next up is the Spore Shot mod slow effects lasting indefinitely. They fixed Enigma's chain lightning chaining through walls and floors. They've also fixed the Enigma ignoring enemies' resistance. The Overload explosion still ignores resist. They fixed the Dark Fluid buff values being inconsistent for clients. They fixed the Fairy Needle buff icon displaying values incorrectly for clients. The Bullet Weaver buff icon displaying values incorrectly again. Issue with the Dran Scavenger ring not correctly working. They fixed the Energized neck coils so as to not trigger from ally status applications. They fixed an issue where consuming processed Kawara while its effect was already active was not resetting the timer. And they put a dev note, seriously though, you know what this is, right? And then they fixed an issue where consuming Ambit Ember while its effect was already active wasn't resetting the timer. Another one where Eulogy mod was damaging player when activated too close to enemies. Also returning bolts no longer damage allies. They've added description and lore for Ghost Shell. Then for enemies, we've got a bunch here as well. They fixed various hitboxes for enemy AoE attacks. They fixed Annihilation insta-killing people with bad connections on transition to the second phase. They fixed an issue with the Cancer boss's root attack ignoring damage reduction. Another one with George the Aberration not attacking players. They fixed an issue with Bloat King where applying a status effect would cause it to never adjust its bioluminescence. They fixed an issue with Gwendil the Unburnt that allowed the Enigma to trigger infinite bomb explosions when there was no longer a bomb in the hand. Another one preventing Venom's staves from being destroyed by AoE and explosives. Another issue preventing some enemy affixes from activating properly on Venom. Fixed various Labyrinth enemies from not attacking during the maze section. Fixed the Bane aberration from warping players out of the arena with Displacer. And then for miscellaneous, they fixed an issue with the icon above doors on the map being too small. Thank you for doing that. It was so frustrating to see them go from a diamond to a tiny little dot. You can never tell if you had done that dungeon or not. You have to like really zoom into the map or like proper look up close to see whether it was a white or a green circle. But they've also fixed an issue where if you quit immediately after picking your archetype with Wallace, you'd have to play through the intro again. They fixed chimney obstructions not resetting for clients on the world reset, various out-of-world or stuck location in Lonesome Dran City. They fixed text getting cut off on 16:10 ratio resolutions, as well as other non-16:9 based resolutions. Another issue where Huntress boss music volume wasn't controllable by the music slider in the settings menu. They fixed an issue where the Jester cards were not correctly showing up for clients. And last but not least, they fixed an issue with wearing the Ravager sigil. When speaking to Bedell, it would cause the enemies to no longer attack the player. And yeah, quite a big patch note list, quite a lot of bugs they fixed, and that pretty much seems to be it. It was like quite heavily based on the armor values, the armor like damage reduction and stuff. And they've done a bunch of progression blockers. They fixed a load of issues and everything in the game. So I'm going to say that's a really, really good patch for the quality of life of the game, for people to enjoy it, to not be stuck whilst they're playing through. So a massive thumbs up from me on that one. And that is the latest patch notes for the newest update in Remnant 2. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.